All right, guys, we are back in the studio for another podcast. And on today's show, we've got Elliot Robinson. Elliot is a classic physique competitor with over 15 years of training under his belt and having competed in over 30 shows, with his latest win being at the PCA World Championships in Amsterdam. So without further ado, let's dig into his brain and find out what makes him tick, what makes us a successful bodybuilder, and what his thoughts are on the bodybuilding scene. Right then, Elliot, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Good to have you. Okay, so we're going to have a bit of a chat today. Obviously, we're going to talk bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. And what I want to start with is how it all unfolded for you to where you are now. So obviously, you didn't just step into the gym and become PCA World Champion. There was a backstory. Where did it begin for you?
I can't even remember that much about what year it was. However, I was always into bodybuilding from about 15, 16. Obviously, magazines were huge back then. Like going to Tesco or something like that, see Muscle and Fitness, see Flex magazine, see the dudes who were on the covers and this, that, and the other. Back when magazines were a thing before social media. And yeah, it was one of them things where I was like, it just made me want to get bigger. I was also into WWE as well at the time, and I was like surrounded basically by jacked up dudes. Yeah. And it was very much a case of me. I was just like, this is what I want to do. Like I need to put a lot of time and effort into building my physique. I already had a half decent frame. I was always skinny, but I had abs. I had the genetics for it. Yeah. So I was like, right, let's go with it. Let's try. Let's get into the gym. Started training. Started working into bit more knowledge on nutrition, things like that. And then, yeah, my physique just started building. But the thing that sort of got me into it really was that I went to Body Power in, I think it was 2015, back when Body Power was in its prime. Yeah. And I got asked to do a shoot with a photographer on the stand. He's like, you look in shape. I was like, I was wearing a hoodie and some joggers, but like, he obviously had an idea that I was in shape, and I just stayed in shape year round then. So, and like I say, I wasn't big, but I was defined. I looked all right. So I was like, I don't know about this, like in front of loads of people. And I'm like, nah, this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? This is a good opportunity. I might get noticed or something from this. So I did. We did a little bit of a shoot, looked like a rabbit in headlights, but physique looked all right. And then from there, I kind of just got into regularly doing shoots with different fitness photographers, and it was great, to be honest, because I was obviously just doing them all for me. I wasn't really getting published on magazines or doing all that sort of stuff, but it was a way of me then creating a goal. Right, I've got a shoot in 2 weeks. I want to look better than the last shoot. Right, I've got a shoot in 4 weeks. I want to look really good. And then from there, I saw the guys that were on the magazines, the guys that were doing the photo shoots were also the guys that were standing on stage. And I saw it as the next route of progression, you know, because I was always trying to better my shape. But then I was like, I might do a show, because I didn't really know anything about it, but I just thought, why would I not? Like, it seems like what the guys like your Ryan Terrys, like your Steve Cooks, like the OGs of the fitness industry, who are all on the covers. And I'm like, these guys are all competing as well. And obviously back then it seemed like a little bit more of an attainable shape as well, rather than today. Yeah. It's crazy, but you're like super defined abs, bit more vascular than the average sort of person, but it wasn't anything like extreme. So I thought, I can do that. I'm obviously not as big as these guys, but I can do it. So then, 2016, I started competing, and I suppose I started with like the fitness modeling stuff, where it was all just about like the aesthetics, the proportions, the symmetry, looking good, like a cover model sort of vibe. And again, this was when the industry was a bit more softcore than it is now, where everyone's crazy shredded and all the rest of it. But that progressed me into then moving into like men's physique. And then I did men's physique for a few years, but I loved it, but I never really felt fulfilled, because I felt like my physique on a whole looked better when the whole thing was out rather than just half. And obviously, old school bodybuilding is a thing that's like always been in the back of my mind. Anyway, I loved all of the like 70s, 80s, 90s bodybuilders. Like when I was growing up, man, that was my inspiration. And yeah, so then I was like, did the men's physique thing, got asked to do a guest pose, and that was the defining moment really that pushed me into classic, because I was going to compete in classic, and I was a bit of a fanny basically, and I was a bit like, I don't know whether I'm big enough, I don't know, and I was a bit second guessing, you know what I mean, in my own head. So then from there, it was very much a case of, I've been asked to do this guest pose and I can't really do a men's physique guest pose. It doesn't work. So I was like, I'm going to get myself a pair of classic trunks. I'm going to agree to do this guest pose and just push myself out of my comfort zone and go for it, I did the guest pose and everyone was like, mate, you need to do classic. And it kind of gave me a little bit more self-belief.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then the following year, I did my first classic show and I ended up winning the show. And I was like, right, shit, okay, this is it now. I'm classic through and through. I'm going to push into it and I'm just going to keep sort of progressing it to, competing and getting as high as I possibly can within the classic ranks, So that's kind of where we are right now.
Nice, I love that.
So yeah.
One thing I picked up on then that you said from like day one of seeing the covers of the magazines was, you said you had that realization of, I need to put some time and effort into building my physique.
Yeah.
That is something that you just don't see these days.
Everyone wants it overnight, that's why.
Everyone wants the quick fix,
the
of course, secret, the magic pill that, as we know, doesn't exist.
That's the great thing about building a physique in my eyes. It doesn't happen overnight and you've got to commit to the process. You've got to put the graft in order to actually get the physique. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
So this is one thing I've always said to a lot of people. I think your physique is a walking CV of how hard you work.
Yeah.
Anyone who looks good, chances are they look that way because of a reason, because they work hard. You know what I mean? Like, the chances are the people who are like a bit half-assed, this, and they look like that, and it reflects that. You know what I mean? The people who are at the top of their game, whether it be fitness and competing, or whether it be like fitness modeling or something like that, they look like that for a given reason because they have to graft to get that physique across, So it's crazy, man.
I think it's I think the fitness space is about as fair as it gets with where you end up. Yeah. Because you have only achieved that because it is very much it's
black and white, mate. That's how I always work, black and white. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's very much even in terms of competing, that's why I like it, because it's like nothing else matters apart from what you look like on that day at that given time. Yeah. Doesn't matter about what you look like 2 weeks ago, or if your coach says you look amazing 3 days out. It just matters on that day at that time. Do you look the best in the lineup? If so, you're probably going to win. Yeah. If not, you're not going to win. So that's kind of why I like it, because I'm like, the thing that gets me in my own head is I want to be so good that they have no choice to put me in that position, undeniable. To put me in that first place position. So that's like that sort of thing that just goes through my brain 24/7, especially when I'm on a prep. I'm like, be so good that they can't deny you, so good that they can't deny you, and that's kind of where a lot of my drive comes from, really. So
I think it's very much a case of there's no hiding, is there? Like, what on the day you can't hide.
Nope.
There's missed cardio sessions.
That's it.
There's sets that you maybe had a couple of extra reps in the tank.
Absolutely. I saw a fantastic post, and I think it was only maybe 2 days ago, from Phil Heath, and he said, how many sets in your session are at least 90%, if not 100%? If you can say that you are given more, 90% or more in every single working set that you do, if your set's 12 reps, did you go to failure and push your body's boundaries? If that number is not 90% or above, you're not working as hard as some of these guys.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's a fantastic point that I thought that was really good, because that's the truth, man. Yeah. That's the truth. There's more to give than a lot of people think. There's more that you can, especially in terms of like body fat levels and things like that. And it's like a lot of people think, I might do one of them shows. I'm like, you don't just do one of these shows. There is levels to the game. And especially from what I was talking about previously, back in the day, maybe like 2015, 2016, it's a totally different look to what it is now. Now you need to be shredded. You need to go to places where the majority of, I'm going to say, normal people will not even know about, because you got to go so deep in your own brain to force yourself to get the job done, to get down to the real fine wire of it, get shredded inside out. I'm talking shredded glutes, I'm talking lower back, feathered. That's what it takes these days in order to do well in shows, unfortunately, and that's not something that comes easy.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think it's very much a case of, if you're not willing to do it, somebody else is.
That's it. I've always said this as well. Yeah,
second to
do the work or get beat by someone who did.
Yeah,
that's facts. That is competing.
Yeah, 100%. Following on from that, then, obviously, back in November,
we
headed out to the Netherlands. to Amsterdam for the PCA World Finals, where you took the overall, the world title in the Pro Classic show. Now, before we clicked record, you were still saying how it didn't feel like it happened.
Yeah.
Do you think it will?
Don't know. It's always that thing. Bodybuilding's a weird one because when one goal finishes or you tick it off, you just immediately start thinking about the next thing. And I suppose that's probably how millionaires be successful in business and all the rest of it. It's just how a sort of driven person processes things in life, really. Like one goal finishes, another one starts. So it's very much like it did sink in a few days after when me and Helen both returned home. We were like, yeah, this is mad. Like, mad. How did we even do that? Like, obviously, that was the goal, though. I've wrote it in my notes.
Yeah.
I've wrote it in my notes for weeks and months on prep. I need to win that world title. Helen needs to turn pro and needs to win. And I was like, as if we actually did it. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. But then it's such a weird one because you either come away from the situation having not won with the drive to want to get better.
Yeah.
But then also when you do tick that box, it's like as if I was the best guy on the day, but now I want to be better anyway.
Yeah.
So where do I go from here? You know, so there's always that next step. So to answer the question, I suppose it has sunk in, but I'm already like firing for like, right, where do I go from here? You know what I mean?
I think Chris Bumstead said it best, actually. It was something along the lines of, how does it feel to have won the Olympia and be the best in the world at what you do? Does it instill a level of confidence? But he actually said, no, if anything, it gave him a sense of anxiety because rather than having that false confidence that I'm the best, no one can touch me, instead it was a case of, all right, I've won. That is the bare minimum.
Yeah,
I've got a better.
Oh, absolutely. You set the standard.
So there was more pressure. I've got to keep bettering this.
What a lot of people don't realize is that you do set the standard for yourself. If you turn up, well, people just expect you to win regardless because everyone's the best in their own gym. You know what I mean? You've got the guys, mate, you're looking on point. You're going to smash everyone in this set and the other. Yeah, but you don't realize that the 10, 12 other guys that I'm about to face in that lineup, all their pals in the gym are saying the same thing and all the rest of it. It's like everyone's Mr. Olympia in their own bathroom at home. You know what I mean? So it's one of them situations where I just think that if you do actually happen to be successful in competing, the pressure is then on because people just expect you to continuously deliver. People knew that I was coming to the British finals in 2023 and they said, oh, you're going to smash, I'm not going to smash it. Like, stop saying this to me because it's not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed in bodybuilding because it happens to land on me landing it right on that day at that time. Like what we said before, that is whether I'm going to win that lineup or not. And that was exactly the same at the Worlds. Obviously, I woke up on point on the morning and I felt great in myself. I felt like I knew I'd done everything in my power to be at the best. And that's the ultimate win, I think, in bodybuilding because then obviously, we go there to win. I'm going there to win. I'm going there to win any lineup that I ever go in. However, when you wake up and you know that for the past 20 weeks of your life, you've dedicated yourself and you couldn't have given any more, not one thing, apart from 100%, and you wake up on the day and you think, I'm on the money, I'm the best I've ever been. Like, that's the win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then it's like, then we'll see what happens in the lineup because how do you know that every other guy hasn't just woke up thinking this is and that's what you're going to get at a high competitive level as well. Every guy's going to be waking up thinking, I'm on here we go, this championship's mine, you know what I mean? So there's
only so much you can control. Very much,
yeah. So, and I think that's why bodybuilding is such a mental game.
Yes.
It's huge. I've heard this before, I've said it to people before, and I'll continue to forever say it to people. Bodybuilding's a mental game. It's how far are you willing to dig in here that's the really important thing because sometimes the best bodybuilders aren't the best bodybuilders. They're the guys with the strongest mindset.
Yeah.
And that's a quote in itself, really, you know what I mean? Like, you've got someone who is willing to give absolutely everything for weeks and months on it and do whatever it takes. They're going to look good.
Yeah.
No matter genetics, no matter any other different things that people might say, oh, well, don't have the genetics, don't have this, don't have that. If you've got an undeniable work rate and you're not willing to leave anything left on the table, you're going to look good by the time it comes to the show, you know. And a lot of the time, you can actually get someone who might not genetically have the greatest shape beat someone who's got that but then didn't want to really put the work in. You know what I mean? So it's only ever going to benefit you to have that like killer mentality of I'm going to do whatever it takes to be the best I possibly can, because like I said, that's the win in itself. Then the rest of the day unfolds and what will be will be.
Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely comes down to what are you willing to sacrifice, and not bodybuilding, but 2018 World's Strongest Man, when Eddie Hall took the title, he said if he hadn't have won that, he would have either been dead or divorced.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was purely because of what he was putting his body through, from obviously the weight he was.
Yeah.
That was a lot of stress on his body, the pharmaceuticals that went along with, and then the amount of time that he was committing to training, that he had no relationship with his wife or his son. And if he didn't win that, he would have lost everything, because it would be a case of, right, you did all that and for what?
Absolutely.
And I think that then transpired to, all right, okay, so if you want to be World's Strongest Man in 2018, you've got to be willing to sacrifice what he did, because that's what it takes to get there. And that's what he did to do it. Are you willing to do that?
And that's what a lot of people don't actually realise, you know what I mean? They just think, oh, Eddie's strong. He just turns up and does his thing and lifts weights. And I'm like, you have no idea what goes into achieving this. He has to still grind at that every single day. Not even so much from a training point of view. Obviously, the training side of things is huge, but the eating, man. The guy's putting like 10, probably 15,000 calories a week. You have no idea how hard that is. Like, it's a full-time job, eating to be that strong. And again, doing whatever it takes, whether it be eating, training, PEDs, whatever, you name it. You have got to tick every single one of them boxes, because that's what all the other guys are doing. So if you're not willing to kind of be like, right, well, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to the best of my ability every single day and outwork every single other person, I don't deserve the title. Someone else will just take it from me, because all these guys are so hungry for it. So you can apply it to anything, I think, in life, whether it be business, bodybuilding, powerlifting, CrossFit, you name it. If you're not willing to do the work and really, really fine-tune your body into that, then do you really deserve to take it home or win, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a mad old one, really.
Indeed. We've kind of covered what will probably be the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you it anyway.
Yeah.
In your eyes, or in your opinion, what makes a successful bodybuilder?
I mean, I did say this, but mindset is number one. Work rate, number two. The ability to be consistent no matter what in your life, whether that be off-season or prep. You've got a goal at the end of the day. If your goal is in your off-season, you want to put X amount of muscle on your frame, then you got to be strict. You got to get the food in, you know what I mean? You got to commit to the process. Even on prep, same goes, but the opposite way around. You know what I mean? You want to be shredded. You want to be the most conditioned guy on stage. You got to be willing to suffer. You know what I mean? And dial your diet back to that point, or do X amount of cardio. Or you've got to do whatever it takes at the end of the day. But I think one of the biggest things in terms of what makes a good bodybuilder is also doing all those things, but then not letting it ruin your life as well.
Yeah.
It's because that, like, me and Chino were having this conversation on the way here, and every prep that I've done, I've learned to manage my life around it so much better. You don't have to lock yourself in a box just to be consistent every single day. That's a big one for me. Me and Helen will go on holiday. I might be 5 weeks out from the show, but doesn't mean that I can't stay absolutely perfectly on point with my food, my training, my cardio. I still tick the boxes, but I'm waking up to sunshine every single day and I'm in a better environment, you know?
Yeah.
And it beats waking up and it being pissing down rain at home and thinking, fuck, I've got to drag myself in the car, got to go to the gym, got to go on the Stairmaster for 90 minutes, buckle my ass and just get shit done.
Yeah.
In the same environment every single day, you know? So I think if you're a really good bodybuilder, ultimately it comes down to the mind, really, but if you can still be as normal as you can while prepping, you know? Like, when I went to one of my friends' weddings last year, I don't want to make a scene. I don't want to tell people I'm a bodybuilder. I don't want to tell people I'm going to have to nip out to the car and eat my meals or anything like that. I'm just like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
Because this is for me, you know? I don't want them to be thinking, oh, Elliot's on prep, you know what I mean? I just want to do it. I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for anyone else. But then I can still go to that wedding. I can still enjoy that wedding. I can still enjoy it with my friends and have the best time ever while still ticking my boxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've still woken up the next day and I'm in a better position than I was on the day of the wedding, which was a better position than the day before. I'm still more than on track. But I didn't shut myself in my room and say, oh, sorry, mate, I can't meet you for a coffee. I'm on prep, trying to be as hardcore and hardcore bodybuilder as you can. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, man. Like, grow up. You can still live a life and prepare for a show. 100%.
Do you think that's become a thing more for sure than anything? It's not. It's become. That's become the norm, that you've got to lock yourself in a box and go into a hole.
No, you don't actually have to lock yourself in that box like the old school guys did. You have to pretend to lock yourself in a box. It's all about how hard you can look like you're training, or how much food it looks like you're eating, or how much cardio it looks like you're doing now, because everyone else needs to know. But you can tell that by the way someone looks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to justify that to everyone. You know what I mean? Oh, I've just done 5 plates per side on it. I'm like, I don't care. Yeah. No one cares.
Cool.
Are your shoulders big and do they look great on show day? Mint. Yeah. Sound. Nothing matters. No. You know what I mean? It's just, like I say, it's that constant, like, I don't know whether people do it for their own sort of like bravado, or whether they do it for the like justification from other people because I want that like well done from someone. Like, oh, I did X amount of weight for X amount of reps. Oh, that's sick, bro. Good work. Blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. I'm like, all right, cool.
Good for you.
Do your shit. You're a bodybuilder. This is what you have to do, you know? You don't have to tell everyone about it 24/7.
Yeah, you signed up for this. You chose to do this.
This is just the lifestyle, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Bit of a crazy one, but yeah.
Right then. This one could go anywhere. I'm intrigued to see where it does go. The bodybuilding scene has changed a lot over the years and over the decades. What is something that you feel we've taken a step in the wrong direction with and needs to change?
Everything. I think everyone is just overcomplicating the process so much. Bodybuilding's black and white. Train, eat, sleep, rest and recover. Do that relentlessly for weeks and months on end. You're going to get what you want out of it, essentially. It just takes time. But nowadays, there is a best exercise for arms, or a best diet to follow, or a best this, and no, he isn't.
Spend too much time trying to optimize it rather than just
bollocks,
doing
man.
it.
It's bollocks. Like, perfect example, Lee Priest video. You put a video on YouTube, quality little clickbait title, my squat stance to grow massive legs. Video opens up and he's like, fuck your squat stance. Just squat where's most comfortable for you and just do it as many times as you can until you can't do it anymore. That's how you build big legs. Video goes off. I'm like, that's bodybuilding. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is what annoys me about the industry, right? And it's like, you've got a guy telling people this is the best exercise to build a big back. The guy in himself has got a big back, right? However, he's already got that muscle. And what a lot of people are seeing is that video. They don't see the years of him doing bent over rows, deadlifts, single arm dumbbell rows, pull-ups, all the basics. They see him doing a flipping 5-second negative D handle lat pull down, which looks great on him because he's got a big back. But that's not what built him the back.
No.
That might be an exercise that he likes to do for back right now. So the 16-year-old kid who wants to build a big, thick back, who prioritizes his session now on doing single arm lat pull downs, it's not going to build a big back. No. It's just not. Like, do the basics, get really fucking good at them, get really strong on them, and you're going to build thickness. And eat.
Yeah.
That's bodybuilding. That's how you're going to build your physique, not doing the tiny little 0.5% that you think like are going to really, really make a massive difference. It's like, just do the basics.
You're icing the cake before you've baked it.
Yeah. You're putting polish on the car without an engine in it. You could go and go, mate. Like, it's like, stop thinking about the tiny, tiny, tiny little things. They can come further down the line, you know what I mean? Just fucking work hard and eat. They're the two biggest things, man. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, there's that. That was just one of them. But like, the drugs, crazy. Like, it blows my mind. Just, I don't know. It's each their own, but it's not a subject I normally talk about or anything like that. But I just think it's wild. What people have also got to remember, just to touch on it a little bit, is that everything's completely unique to that individual. So just because Chris Bumstead says he takes X, Y, and Z, just because you take that does not mean you're going to look like Chris Bumstead. So people need to be aware. People need to do a shit ton of research into it before they even think about anything like that. But again, nowadays, everyone wants everything yesterday. So they're like, how do I get there as fast as possible? Not the answer, unfortunately, because me personally as well, I think that a physique in itself is evident of like what's gone into it, you know? So I think it brings a different look to a body when the real foundations of bodybuilding have built that physique. Yeah. As in the quality of the muscle, the quality of the skin, the like how thin it is, how the way it wraps around the muscle, you know what I mean? These are things that, it might sound a bit over the top that I think into all this sort of stuff, but it's like, now that I'm at, by no means I'm at a super high level, but now that I'm at the level I'm at, these are little things that make a big difference to my physique, you know? But someone who's very much just starting out, you need to just, like I said, just do the bread and butter stuff that is the roots of bodybuilding. Then later down the line, you can think about X, Y, and Z and blah, 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 you know? But like, don't try and like jump the gun, because unfortunately, more is not always better, and getting there as fast as possible is not the answer. Bodybuilding's a time game. Yeah. And if you're willing to commit the time to the sport of it, you'll get really far and you'll look really good. Whether you decide to compete or whether you just want to build a good physique, you know, that's the foundations of how to build a good, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything else on the subject of.
I'm sure there's many of them.
But yeah, I mean, just to kind of go on one more, is like similar to what we said before about it's not a competition of who can eat the most food or who can lift the most weights or anything like that. So I think a lot of the time people need to just stay in their own lane, really, and not try and compare yourself to other people too much, because I think that is a big downfall of loads of people, and it actually sickens you off because you're looking at Chris Bumstead. Why don't I look like Chris Bumstead in a front lat spread? You're not Chris Bumstead. Yeah. So stop trying to be Chris Bumstead. Instead, be the first version of you. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's like a big one, because loads of times people say to me, "Oh, you look like so-and-so." I'm like, I fucking don't want to look like so-and-so. I want to be the first one of me. Yeah, you know? And I think that's really, really important, to not get yourself wrapped up in that side of things, because it's just a bit of a kind of toxic place to put your head. Yeah. Because you're then forever in competition with so-and-so you're trying to compare yourself to. And if you don't look like that, or you see them upload something, and think, oh man, they look insane, you know what I mean? And then you then go to hit a front double bicep or whatever, and you're like, oh, I hate myself. It's like, it's a real negative mindset to put yourself in. And I think it's not a productive mindset to build a good physique off. So yeah, try and not compare yourself too much, and just do bodybuilding for you, just enjoy it. Or just, when I say bodybuilding as well, I'm just talking about building a physique. I'm not necessarily talking about competing. I'm just talking about building your body, essentially. So
yeah. So taking it back to like what needs to change, it's not so much how we compare. It's more what others share that's probably not a true representation.
Yeah. I mean, that is a big point. I mean, social media has just changed the game forever, hasn't it? You know what I mean? Like, everyone only posts the best stuff. They only post what they want you to see. And comparing yourself to things like that is not the way that you want to be going about things in itself. Kind of to link the points together, do the basics, just get good at doing the things. Train hard, enjoy your progress, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you want to be doing. And again, instead of worrying about all of the nitty-gritty stuff, just focus on, like I say, just ticking your boxes for you on every given day, and just watch the progression in your physique, because it will happen, you know? Like, a lot of these guys, and every guy that people might look up to or see on social media, they were doing this at some point. You know what I mean? Yeah, they might be putting X, Y, and Z videos out there at the moment, but they were doing the things that I'm saying right now. I fully believe that. Everyone's in that same position. It's how we all start bodybuilding. Yeah. You know? So, yeah.
Knowing what you know now, if you were to go back to day one and start again from scratch, what would you do? Where would you start?
I mean, I could probably approach this in a few different ways. One of the biggest ones is in the gym, is not be so obsessed with heavy weight, because does the muscle really know exactly what the weight is that you're lifting? Like, if you were able to lift 50 kilo on chest press and you feel every single part of it, do you need to lift 60 kilo? Unless you can lift 60 kilo, like I could lift 30 kilo. Then you're gonna make some serious moves, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of the time, a lot of guys are just like numbers focused. Numbers. I need to beat last week's. That's why I don't use a logbook, personally. Each to their own. People can use them. I don't like them, because sometimes I feel like, yeah, it might push you. However, life also happens, and you might have a day where you feel a little bit weaker, or you might have a day where you train a little bit earlier and you haven't had your 4 meals that you wanted to eat before training. You might have had 2, so you might feel a bit weaker, but then you didn't beat last week's numbers, so then you're pissed off, and then you've had a shit day because you've had a shit session. Yeah. It sometimes can, like, say, spiral. So I say, like, if your goal is to bodybuild and build muscle, what you feel in that muscle is the key. Whether that's heavyweight, lightweight, moderate weight, I don't give a shit what it is. If that muscle's under stress, constant tension, and you're breaking the muscle down, you're stretching the muscle out, contracting the muscle, you're going to change the size and shape of that muscle, regardless of how strong you are, or the strength builds over time. You know what I mean? So, and again, relating it back to something that I've heard Phil Heath, one of my favorite bodybuilders ever, talk about, it's like, I want to be able to press the hundreds like I can press the 180s or whatever it was, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that weight should still move the same, because the underlying strength is there. Yeah. It's not like he lifts the hundreds and then when he gets past 150, you don't see him like, I can't do it anymore. You know, you just don't really see that. Like, the strength is there. He knows what he can lift. So then he's going to push that muscle to failure within the reason of him kind of going to that place of being failure, but also keeping his body in a relatively healthy sort of position where he's not like killing himself off big time, you know what I mean? Then you write yourself off and you sore as hell for 4 or 5 days. All of a sudden your recovery's out the window. And then you think, oh shit, like I can't train chest now for the rest of the week. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, so that would be a big one. But yeah, there's probably more to go into, but I don't know. It's one of them, really.
You've never really, like, I've followed your journey for years now. Mm-hmm. Not its early stages, but for the entire time that I have bear witness to what you've done, it's never changed. You've always been, and I think it's testament to the time that you got into it, and you've stayed true to that. Is you've always just done the basics and done them well. So to say what would you do if you would start again, knowing what you know now, it's quite a vague one, because you probably wouldn't change that much. I was genuinely going to answer
the question saying nothing, but then I was like, that kind of defeats the object. I would potentially change some things, but then I'm like, I feel like I've approached it in quite a good way personally, because I'm really good at like taking what I want from different piece of information. I live my life on YouTube, man. Like half the time, like especially when I'm growing up, I'm watching all the greats and how they train and like taking the points that I really want to take from them sessions, you know. And a lot of the time, you've got guys saying, "Don't go crazy heavy," or this, that, and the other, because, like I said, longevity. Think about it. You know what I mean? You need to go heavy enough, yeah, 100%. But each their own. You know what I mean? If you're an absolute freak and you can get in the gym, like shout out Abu, absolute mutant. If you can go in the gym and you can put 6 plates aside and absolutely piss that like it's nothing, fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But chances are not everyone's like that. You know what I mean? So it's specific to the individual.
Working with what
you've got. And again, yeah, like half the time I don't see people achieve the results that they want to achieve because they're not consistent enough to what they say they want. If they want to build muscle, or 1 minute they want to prep for a bodybuilding show, next they're doing high rocks.
Yeah.
Next they're doing a flipping something else, or they're training for a marathon, or I want to get big and then I want to get shredded. I want to get big now and then, I don't know what to. Just pick one.
Yeah.
And be consistent with it, because then you're going to get the best out of it. But a lot of the time, people's attention span just switches off if they don't get what they want in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I've been training for 15 years doing the same shit. You know what I mean? I don't just look like this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that a lot of the time I think people don't want, is to put that amount of time into it. You know what I mean? You don't see billionaires make businesses overnight and then all of a sudden they're making the billions that they've got overnight.
Yeah.
It takes time. You know what I mean? But again, and probably a lot of failures as well. So I think a lot of the time, but people don't want that. They just want to start a business or whatever and be successful. We started our coaching business in 2020, lockdown.
Yeah.
And we were like, I don't know how this is going to go, but there's only one way to find out, you know what I mean? And yeah, we've had a shit ton of struggles along the way, plenty of times where we've thought, oh shit, is this the right thing or what? Like, I don't know. But on the other side of that is always a reward, you know what I mean? So then it does build up, and then you get through moments where you're like, so glad we did this. This is the best thing we've ever done. But then you're also going to have moments where you tear your hair out, stressed to bits, thinking, I've got 5 people to sign up by tomorrow and I need to get this shit sorted. Oh my God, why am I doing this? It's a Sunday night, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So you're going to have all of them moments. And I think as long as you realize and you kind of approach them with a bit more of an open mindset of, I'm just going to give it the best I possibly can, rather than hate yourself or rather than be too like sure of yourself, be too overconfident. Just keep that sort of like open mind to everything and you're going to get the best out of it, I think. So, yeah.
We've covered a fair amount of bodybuilding talk, and we are a supplement brand. I don't think we've mentioned a supplement yet.
No.
So obviously we know, and anybody that watches and follows along your social media, we know that Project Pump and The Edge is your go-to pre-workout combo.
It is.
What is it about that trumps everything? Like, we've got Legacy within the range.
Yep.
We've got Pump. We've got The Edge. Why do you not use Legacy? Why do you not just use Pump? Why do you not just use Edge? Why is it that those two products together is your daily staple? Because it is every single session.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think it comes down to what you want out of the product, really, personally. I like being wired enough to be wired and psyched for my session, but not to go almost too crazy, if you get what I mean. Yeah. I always want a crazy pump, and that's where the pump comes in. So personally, I think that, say, for example, if I do like 1 scoop of Legacy, it's all right. Pump's good. Focus is decent, you know what I mean? If I do 2 scoops, I'm too wired.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, right. Whereas with the Edge, I put 1 scoop in that and I'm like, whoa, here we go, you know what I mean? I feel a little bit of like tingles, but I'm not like scratching my skin off or like, because then it takes it away from the session, because I'm like, oh, some people like it, some people don't. Yeah, I think it's personally distracting. So I like that little bit of like, I love the flavors because they're obviously a bit tangy as well. So it kind of gives you that like kick. But then the majority comes from really like the pump. I just think the combo, the flavor's great as well. I like drinking something sweet on the way to the gym. It just hypes me up all day long. And like I say, I just think it brings a really, really good balance of being focused, being wired but not too wired, and getting a wild pump. And that's why I'm like, this is what I say to my people on socials and things like that. And people who follow me on Instagram will know the crack. It's like, I use it every single day because I believe in it. Like I literally use this every single day, and I wouldn't use it every single day if I didn't think it was great. So I put posts on Insta stories the other day about, if you want to find a great product, look at what someone's using on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
If you see a one-time post from an influencer or something like that, and then you don't ever see it ever again, chances are it was a shit product.
Yeah.
Look at something that someone's using on a consistent basis, and almost like posting, but organically posting.
Yeah.
Not
There's
like,
no ulterior motive
guys,
to
you
it.
need to buy this because there's a sale and blah, 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 this and the other. And it's like, yeah, that's great. But just look at what someone's actually using for themselves. Chances are, if they're using it for themselves on a consistent basis, they use it because they rate it.
Yeah.
There's your good product. So that's why I use them.
What's your thoughts on then the prospect of V2 of pump? Because obviously that is in the process of production at the minute. Unfortunately, we don't have a specific ETA.
Yeah.
But it's due pretty imminently.
Absolutely.
And the formula has had a tweak. One thing that's been removed from it, which I'm a huge fan of this decision, is there is no beta-alanine in Project Pump V2.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone that doesn't know, beta-alanine is what causes your tingles and your face to itch. From a performance standpoint, a lot of you won't get anything from it, because for beta-alanine to have a lasting and beneficial result with you, it needs to be taken every single day. Now, you're not taking pre-workout every single day. You're taking pre-workout what? On average, unless you're Elliot. You're taking pre-workout what? 4 to 5 days a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, on a 5-day split.
Yeah.
2 rest days. So there's then 2 days where that saturation level is dropping. You wouldn't tell someone to take creatine 5 out of 7 days a week, would you?
No.
You take it every single day. So beta-alanine works on that same principle. And we feel like beta-alanine is present in a lot of pre-workouts as a placebo effect. Is it gives you that feeling of being hyped and wired and stimmed when it's not really doing anything for you, but making your nerve endings itch. So we've taken it out. So that's going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that distracting itch is going to be a thing of the past. And one of the ingredients has had a slight change. And it will be incorporating a glycerol for this new Project Pump, which is, if you know, fantastic for a good pump.
Yep.
Sounds good?
Right up my street, mate, to be fair. It's one of them. I'm looking forward to trying it. And as always, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So,
well, we can count on that.
But I mean, I often dictate how good the session is off how good of a pump I've got.
Yeah.
Because realistically, that's going to show, has your nutrition been adequate for the day? Is your pre-workout doing what it says it does? You know what I mean? Like, there's clear indications when you're sat there in the middle of a gym with a crazy pump on that chances are it's all married up really, really nicely. And if you sat there thinking, don't really feel great, you know what I mean? Either the nutrition's been crap or your pre-workout's terrible and you need to switch it up. So, or you train like shit.
Options
so it could be one of them. It could be one of them. But I'm hyped. I love a pre-workout. So I'm ready. Whenever it's arriving. I want to be the first one.
Hopefully, it'll be due very, very soon.
Cool.
And if we can, we'll try and get an exclusive visit to the factory.
Yeah.
And take you along with us. See it come off the line.
Just get so pumped. Sounds good.
Last one then. If we were to do a signature Elliot Robinson product, what would it be?
Pre-workout, obviously. Yeah, man. It's got to be a pre, Annie. I love it, man. I often think that, I spend majority of my days absolutely trying to burst as much energy into my clients and things like that as possible. So I'm like a pre-workout on myself. So I feel like it would just be, that would be a sick idea.
suitable.
I would love it. Yeah, I think I would suit the
vibe.
Yeah, the vibe. Yeah, just bring the energy. Yeah, big time. So that'd be mega.
What would you want it to be? What would that pre-workout look like? What would you want it to do for you?
If there was a
not
way
do
of
for you.
recreating the same sort of feeling that I get with mine now, like a combination of the pump
Yeah.
with a little bit of stim, but not too crazy, that, in my opinion, is a perfect combo. Because, like I say, it does give you the kick, but it's not taking your head clean off.
It's almost like a dialed down legacy from a caffeine standpoint,
Yeah,
but slightly upscale
yeah.
the
And with some outrageous flavours.
pump ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
What flavour?
Gotta be. Ooh, I don't know.
Give me a one signature Elliot Robinson flavour.
Oh, my God.
If we were to produce it. We're in the boardroom right now discussing this product and its future. What flavour is it going to be?
Something out there, like I want like fizzy sweets or something like that sort of vibe. Because I think that is like, that psychs me. No matter, like, if you just empty a bag of Haribos in your mouth or something like that, you're going to be pretty psyched up, aren't you? You know what I mean? So,
Tangfastics.
yeah, that Tangfastics. That could be a shout, you know? Like them, or them little snakes, little multicolored snakes or whatever they are. Yeah. They're also mega around there. Like that sort of
fizzy worms.
Fizzy vibe.
Yeah.
That's going to be my vibe. Definitely. Let's make it happen.
Let's go speak to Paul.
Sound. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, El, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming by HQ and sitting down and chatting with us today.
I appreciate it. It was great to be on, mate.
Yeah, no, it was good. I hope there's plenty to be taken away from today's chat.
Yeah.
That people can learn from and implement and
absolutely
try and improve.
I hope so.
Yeah,
that's the
end
given
game.
A reason, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
So.
If we've not covered anything, I know for a fact you'll cover it on your own social media. Where can people find you? So
you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, Elliot Robinson Fitness. Just type that in and I should come up straight away.
There you go. So we'll have to do this again.
Absolutely. Let's get it.